Hey everyone, today we're going to be solving an ordering numbers problem, working it out style. All right, and if you've seen any of my working it out videos before, then you know that I like to show me solving a word problem and what is going through my head as I read the problem, and then also what my scratch paper or whiteboard will look like alongside the problem. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. It says the table shows the steel production of 4 countries for 1 year. I just like to take a minute to study the table. So we have steel producing country, and the first one is the United States, and its production in metric tons is, can you say that number? Okay, 80,500,000 metric tons. Okay, then we have India. Can you say that number? Okay, 154,060,000 metric tons. Japan is 89,200,000. South Korea is 65,900,000. Now let's read the question below. Which of the following lists the countries in order from greatest steel production to least? Okay, so before I start actually looking at the answer choices and really trying to eliminate some and all of that, I like to just kind of think about what the problem is about first. So I'm noticing that we've got some information, some data on these different countries and their steel production. And the goal of this problem is to be able to write it in order. And I'm got to pay close attention to which order, because some problems can say least to greatest and some can say greatest to least. This one, let's take a look. It says greatest to least. Okay, and then I'm going to read it another time, and this time I'm going to be looking for things to highlight or circle, that kind of thing. And so I'm going to just start over again and try to understand it even better. So the table shows the steel production of 4 countries for 1 year. So then I have United States, India, Japan, and South Korea. I think I'm going to go ahead and highlight all of those and their numbers. That table is the most important part of this problem because it gives us all the information that we need. So I'm going to highlight their numbers too. Then it says, which of the following lists the countries in order from greatest, you got it, I'm going to highlight that, to least. Okay, now let's pull up the whiteboard and start working through this problem so that we can take a look at the answer choices and eliminate some that aren't working out. Okay, so first thing I like to do is just, especially when I'm doing a problem on the computer, I like to just get all of my numbers written down. They're not in any certain order. It's just like how the problem was that we were looking at. So I just wrote them in order. And now I can take a look at comparing those and getting them in the right order, okay? And we want to get them in greatest, I'm going to make a little line there, greatest to least. And I like to just make a little L to G to show greatest to least. And that's just a quick way for me to keep track. Okay, now I can start looking at the numbers. What do you notice that stands out to you? Do you see one that looks greater than the rest? Yeah, this one right here. So India has 100 millions place. The other ones don't have one, do they? So that one has to be the greatest. Okay, so 154,000 or 54,060,000. Notice how I'm also, even though my answer choices are just the name of the country, I am still going through and putting them greatest to least, and then I can pick the choice that matches, because the numbers are what's helping me the most to compare. Okay, so there's India. Then we have, or actually I'm just going to abbreviate with an I. Okay, so then I'm going to cross it out once I've got it on the list. Now we need to know the next one in line. So let's take a look at the biggest place value. Okay, 8, 8, and 6. So I notice that I have two that are bigger and one that's smaller in the 10 millions. And so I know it's going to be one of these. It's either going to be the US or Japan. Okay, so then we have to move over to the millions place. So let's take a look. And I'm only going to compare these two because this one's down in the 60 million area, so we know it's not that one. Okay, what do you think? Which is bigger, 0 or 9? You got it, the 9, so that means 89,200,000 is next, and that is Japan. And we can kind of pause and take a look at our answers. Which answer choices seem like they could be right so far? Oh, I see A and C both start with India, and B and D do not. So that kind of gives me a little bit of a clue. I'm going to cross out Japan's number. And now what do you think goes next? Let's look back. We have the 80 million or the 60 million. Which one do you think is bigger? You got it, 80 million. 500,000. And that is the US. And we're done with that one. So that only leaves South Korea. And it is 65,900,000 is that smallest one, the least. Okay, now let's look at those answer choices. Which one stands out as greatest to least? Okay, awesome. I'm seeing A is the correct choice. I think it would be really easy on this one to make a mistake and pick B because it looks like it's going least to greatest. And if you don't read the question really carefully, you might pick that one. All right, great job.